In a land scarred by battle and burdened with sorrow, there are stories of hope and redemption that rise like embers from the ashes of despair. This is a story of a soldier and his loyal canine partner, a story of survival, betrayal, and ultimately, triumph. This is the tale of Logan and Shadow. The battleground lay quiet under a heavy grey sky. Smoke still curled from the remnants of fallen structures, and distant echoes of conflict were swallowed by an uneasy silence. In this desolation, where every step might lead to danger or loss, American soldier Logan trudged through the debris of war, his uniform stained with the dust of combat and his eyes haunted by memories too heavy to forget. Logan had seen too much in his time on the field. Yet, amid the ruins of shattered hopes and broken promises, one vision had kept him moving, forward, a promise of loyalty and brotherhood. As he carefully made his way along a battered road, a sound caught his attention, a soft, desperate whimper that cut through the silence like a plea for mercy. In a small clearing, partially hidden by the wreckage of a toppled vehicle, Logan discovered a sight that would change his life forever. There, lying with a broken leg and labored breaths, was Shadow, a once proud military working dog, with eyes that still shone with fierce intelligence and undying devotion. It was as if fate had brought them together on that bitter day. Logan knelt beside Shadow, his heart pounding with urgency and sorrow. The dog's fur was matted, and each shallow breath exuded pain and weariness. The silence of the battlefield was broken only by the quiet, pained whimpers coming from the wounded beast. In that moment, an unspoken bond passed between them, a connection forged by shared struggle and an unwavering promise of loyalty. Every instinct told Logan that Shadow was more than just a canine comrade. He was a brother in arms, a living testament to the resilience found amid desolation. Ignoring the orders that urged him to leave injured assets behind, Logan wrapped his arms around the trembling dog and, with determination that defied military protocols, lifted Shadow as gently as one might cradle a wounded child. "I'm not leaving you behind," Logan murmured, his voice thick with emotion. "We're getting through this together." With no time to waste, Logan dragged Shadow away from the shattered remnants of battle, determined to save the one soul who had never faltered in loyalty. The journey back to the base was treacherous. The landscape was peppered with hazards unexploded, ordnance, treacherous trenches, and whispers of enemy activity. Yet, guided by loyalty and the silent promises exchanged between man and beast, Logan pressed on. Every step was a testament to his resolve and his refusal to surrender to fate. Shadows. Heavy breaths mingled with the cool wind as Logan navigated through crumbled walls and muddy paths. In the quiet darkness punctuated by the flickering light of distant fires, the soldier's unwavering determination and the dog's resilient spirit shone as rare beacons of hope. Every so often, Logan would pause, gently checking on Shadow, whispering reassurances as if to say, "I promise I won't let you go." The bond they shared grew stronger under the weight of shared pain and the quiet understanding that neither of them was ready to surrender. This mission, though it had started in chaos, had become personal, a fight for life, honor, and the unbreakable spirit of true companionship. Back at the base, the atmosphere was tense yet hopeful. The medics rushed Shadow into the makeshift surgical tent, a temporary haven amidst the chaos of war. Inside, a skilled veterinarian worked swiftly, his hands steady despite the gravity of the moment. Logan stood close by, his eyes fixed on every careful movement, assisting where he could, a silent guardian praying that his friend would pull through. "Stay with me, Shadow," Logan whispered softly, his gaze never leaving the brave face of his canine partner. The sterile white of the tent contrasted sharply with the rugged exterior of the battlefield outside, a sanctuary where life and death waged their own quiet war. The surgery was long and strenuous. The veterinarian's expert hands pieced together a delicate dance of hope and healing, using every ounce of skill and compassion to mend what had been broken. Logan's presence and the quiet, persistent spirit of Shadow suffused the tent with an energy that felt almost miraculous. Outside the tent, whispers of admiration spread among the soldiers. Here was a man who had risked everything for a single dog, a steadfast companion who had proven that honor and loyalty could defy the harshest, orders in the darkest moments of war. As Shadow lay recovering, signs of a hidden betrayal began to emerge from the shadows of the base. Logan, ever watchful and with a soldier's instinct for the truth, started noticing subtle irregularities, oversights that spoke of something far more sinister than mere battlefield misfortune. Papers out of place, whispered conversations in corridors meant to be secure, and anomalies in maintenance logs all hinted that someone might have deliberately endangered Shadow's life. In hushed moments between rounds of medication and weary night shifts, Logan gathered evidence. The signs began to converge, pointing to a grim possibility, a betrayal from within. His heart sank as he pieced together the puzzle. A high-ranking officer, Major Collins, harbored a secret grudge against Shadow. The resentment stemmed from a failed mission, an event that had left Collins embittered and seeking retribution against the symbol of his own shortcomings. Logan's mind raced, burdened by the implications of his discovery. Confronting a superior officer was an act of defiance, and the stakes were high. But the bond between him and Shadow was unyielding, and justice for a loyal friend became a mission in itself. Standing at a crossroads where personal conviction clashed with military hierarchy, Logan prepared to confront the man he now understood to be responsible for the near-fatal harm inflicted upon Shadow. Gathering his evidence and finding allies among those who had witnessed the unexplained events, Logan sought justice with a quiet determination that belied the turmoil within. "I refuse to let loyalty and bravery be tarnished by betrayal," Logan declared in private meetings with trusted comrades. His words carried a profound weight, a testament to the love he had for his partner and the unyielding sense of right that drove him forward. His actions were met with resistance from those entrenched in the old order. Subtle threats and cold dismissals tried to silence his quest for the truth, yet Logan's resolve only hardened. In the dim corridors of the base, where whispers carried dangerous secrets, his voice rose, insisting that no act of treachery, especially against a soul as pure as Shadow's, would go unchallenged. The growing chorus of witnesses and corroborating evidence finally forced the higher-ups to take notice. A formal investigation was launched, a ripple of accountability that promised to expose the dark underbelly of envy and retribution that had tarnished what should have been a tale of honor and courage. Just as the investigation began to gain momentum, fate dealt yet another cruel twist. One cold pre-dawn hour, the base was rocked by the sound of alarms and the unmistakable rumble of enemy forces. The war that had simmered in distant lands now burst directly upon them. Amid the chaos, soldiers scrambled to defend their position as explosions lit up the night sky. Logan, though still recovering from the ordeal of his recent trials, knew that his mission was far from over. He dashed through winding corridors, rejoining his comrades in the heat of a battle that was as sudden as it was brutal. Though the base was under siege, every heart beat with a renewed purpose, a fierce determination to protect the lives of those who had risked everything for their cause. Amid the ferocious exchange of gunfire and shouted commands, Logan's focus remained unwavering. Shadow, having just begun to regain his strength in the confines of recovery, proved that true courage isn't measured in physical prowess alone. Together, they became a beacon of hope for their weary comrades, a duo bound not only by the scars of war but by an unbreakable bond forged in adversity. In the heart of the tumult, as the base trembled under enemy assault, a fateful confrontation unfolded. Major Collins, the man Logan had come to hold accountable, emerged from the shadows with a look that was as cold as the steel in his hand. His eyes burned with a fury born of humiliation and envy, and as he advanced on Logan, it was clear that his intentions were far from those of redemption. "You think you can defy the chain of command?" Collins sneered, his voice echoing with menace. "Your loyalty is misplaced, soldier. You endanger not just yourself, but every one of us." Logan stepped forward, his voice measured but resolute. "I do what is right. I protect those who have given their all, the ones who deserve a chance to heal, to live. Shadow is not a liability. He is a hero." The tension was palpable as fellow soldiers and medics watched with bated breath. In the ensuing moments, the base's chaos masked the silent duel between ideals. the clash of a heart committed to justice versus a rigid hierarchy unwilling to accept accountability. Witnesses came forward, sharing their own accounts of that harrowing night and the inexplicable events that had pointed to Collins's true motives. Yet as the confrontation grew heated, the enemy's assault intensified. Amidst the confusion and the roar of battle, Major Collins escalated his threat. In a desperate attempt to silence Logan once and for all, he lunged toward him, his hand raised to strike a fatal blow. But before the blow could land, a blur of fur and fury intervened. Shadow, driven by an instinct that transcended pain and the wounds of the past, leaped into the fray. The loyal canine intercepted Collins's attack with a speed born of adrenaline and love, absorbing the impact meant for his master. In that excruciating moment, as time seemed to slow, Logan watched helplessly as Shadow took the brunt of the blow. The world held its breath as the two figures, man and dog, stood as a united front against betrayal and malevolence. Though Shadow was injured once more, his spirit was unyielding, and his actions served as a turning point in the battle. With the base secure and the enemy repelled, the fallout of that fateful night began to echo through the ranks. The evidence that Logan had painstakingly gathered and the undeniable heroism of Shadow had left no room for doubt. Major Collins was arrested in the wake of his reckless actions, and a formal court-martial ensued. The investigation that followed was thorough and unrelenting. Witnesses testified, documents were scrutinized, and the truth emerged from beneath layers of deceit and misplaced loyalty. Major Collins was found guilty of deliberate endangerment and insubordination, a harsh verdict that, while painful for some, was a long overdue vindication for those who had suffered under his command. In the quiet aftermath of legal reckoning, the base slowly began to heal. The courage of one man and the undying loyalty of one dog had not only saved lives on the battlefield, but had also restored faith in the principles of honor and justice that defined their shared cause. As the days turned into weeks, life at the base settled into a cautious rhythm, a rhythm marked by careful healing and renewed trust. Shadow remained under careful watch as he recovered from the wounds inflicted in both the battle and the confrontation. Logan, ever by his side, nursed his loyal companion with the same determination that had seen them through the darkest hours. During quiet moments in the infirmary and amidst the gentle hum of the base's everyday life, a deep and unspoken truth prevailed. Healing was not a solitary journey. The scars of war, visible and unseen, were slowly mended by compassion, by shared stories, and by the unwavering bond between a soldier and his dog. Each day, as Shadow's strength returned bit by bit, Logan recounted the memories of their journey. He spoke softly to the recovering dog, recounting the day they first met in the ruins of battle, the moment of betrayal that had nearly shattered their trust, and the ultimate triumph that had redefined their lives. In every word, there was gratitude, a gratitude for a second chance, for a bond that defied the cruelty of fate, and for the small victories that made the struggle worthwhile. The camaraderie that had blossomed on the battlefield now found a new home in quieter, more peaceful settings. The lives that had once been defined solely by conflict were slowly reimagined through the lens of resilience and hope. In time, the acts of valor and sacrifice did not go unnoticed. A solemn ceremony was held, a tribute not only to those who had fought on the front lines, but to the ideals that had guided them through relentless turmoil. Logan and Shadow were called to the center of the gathering, where medals were bestowed as symbols of their extraordinary heroism and sacrifice. Each medal, gleaming in the soft light of dusk, was a testament to battles fought with courage and hearts that never yielded. Logan's eyes shone with quiet pride and humility as he accepted the honor, his gaze continuously drifting to the ever-loyal Shadow, lying faithfully at his side. The recognition was not just for a soldier, nor solely for a hero canine. It was for the unbreakable bond between them, a bond that transcended orders and definitions, embodying the very spirit of loyalty and love. With the formalities behind them and the truths of their sacrifice resonating through the ranks, the pair eventually found themselves on the long, winding road home. Their journey back was not marked by the heavy thrum of military convoys, nor the stark realities of conflict, but rather by a profound, quiet understanding, a beginning of life beyond the horrors of war. In the days that followed, as the echoes of artillery faded into distant memory and the scars of battle slowly softened, Logan and Shadow embraced the promise of a new dawn. Their journey home was a pilgrimage, a slow, measured return to the peaceful rhythms of life that had once seemed an impossible dream. On an early morning, with the sky painted in hues of pastel blue and gold, Logan took Shadow for a walk along a country road that stretched into infinity. The air was crisp, carrying with it the gentle murmur of nature awakening. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, the battlefield was replaced by the soft rustling of leaves and the tender caress of the wind. As they ran together across the open fields, every stride was an ode to healing. The once torn land around them now whispered promises of renewal, of life reborn in the embrace of nature. Logan's heart swelled with emotion as he looked down at Shadow, who, despite the remnants of his injuries, bounded joyfully each leap, a celebration of their freedom and the unyielding spirit of survival. "We made it, old friend," Logan murmured, his voice carrying both relief and gratitude. In that moment, as the first golden rays of the sun bathed the world in hope, the memory of hardship and betrayal was replaced by the gentle certainty that love and loyalty would always triumph over the darkness. Today, the legacy of Logan and Shadow serves as a beacon for all who believe in the transformative power of loyalty, courage, and honesty. Their journey, carved out in the crucible of war and marred by betrayal, emerges as a testament to the strength of the human and animal spirit when they stand together against injustice. This is a story about more than just survival. It is a story about love rekindled in the face of adversity, of the bravery found in the heart of a soldier, and the unwavering devotion of a faithful dog. It reminds us that healing comes slowly but surely, and that the most enduring bonds are forged in our darkest moments. As you reflect on the trials and triumphs of Logan and Shadow, may you be inspired to cherish the heroes in your own life, those who silently stand by your side, who protect you with fierce loyalty, and who remind you that even in our lowest moments, we are never truly alone. We invite you, dear viewer, to join in the conversation. Share your own stories of bravery, loyalty, and the incredible bond between humans and their animal companions. Like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe for more tales of hope and inspiration. Together, let us celebrate those who dedicate their lives to protecting others, and remind ourselves that the light of love can banish even the darkest shadows. And so, as the dust of conflict finally settles into memories, and the promise of a peaceful future blossoms anew, Logan and Shadow continue their journey hand in paw. From the battle-scarred land they once called a battlefield to the sunlit fields of home, their shared journey is one of healing, enduring love, and the boundless courage it takes to follow one's heart. May their legacy serve as a reminder to us all that true heroes come in many forms. Whether on the front lines or in the quiet moments of solace, the bonds we share, the love we give, and the courage we embody create ripples of hope that can change the world. Thank you for watching. May you always find strength in the face of adversity, hope in the midst of despair, and the comforting truth that loyalty and love will forever light the path ahead. If this story has touched your heart, please comment and share your own experiences or the tales of extraordinary loyalty in your life. Your stories inspire us all and remind us that even when the world seems dark, hope and friendship are never far away.